Vintage style journaling is something that I've always been very passionate about. And if you've been following this channel since the very beginning, you know that it's kind of where it all started for me. In this video we're gonna dip into the fascinating world of vintage junk journals and scrapbooks, but in a super crafty way. I'm gonna show you some ideas and techniques to create your ephemera and build up your vintage collection. To add vintage patina to photos and postcards, create pet tapes, and little precious elements to make your scrapbooks and junk journals a real treasure and a joy to flip through. And I prepared 2 new bundles of printables for you to download, but more on this later. Hi everyone, this is Carlo and welcome back to my channel. The starting point for our vintage ephemera lab, I just coined this expression, I think it's very fitting, is to build up a box of materials. Now this gets me very excited because I love going around thrift markets, charity shops and antique stores, rummaging every box and go back home with my precious finds. If you're anything like me, this is what I recommend you to look for to build your starting kit. First, I would say old books, of course. Any old book, but here are some examples that reflect my passions and my tastes. I like old nautical books with illustrations, tables, paragraphs and titles written with these old fonts. I love when the cover is so worn out. But also art books and catalogs are a good choice. They always have a great selection of images. I think I found this in Tallinn in Estonia. Beautiful black and white pictures. Of course, literature, and in particular poetry. I'm in love with the text laid out in the center, and look how gorgeous the cursive on the titles is. Another kind of books that I like to thrift is old music scores. They have so many fantastic pages. This is just a small selection, but you can search for old botanical books, they always have great illustrations, old atlases of the world with maps, architecture books, and so on. I know that many people hate to destroy the sacrality of books for journaling purposes. I'm a passionate reader myself, so I totally get it. We can see it under the perspective of very old books that are there forgotten and they get a new lease on life. But if this still makes your eye twitch, you can scan the pages with a scanner and use the copies for your journaling. I often do this and this also allows me to use the same page multiple times. Another element that I love to thrift is old postcards and photos. Usually antique stores have boxes or drawers full of these beautiful pieces. This was a page of a photo album I thrifted in Covent Garden and I scanned the single photos to use them. I found these postcards when I worked on a cruise ship in the Nordic countries, and some of these here in London. There's a little street called Cecil Court, a few steps from Leicester Square, that you can check for vintage paper items. If the postcards are written, you hit the jackpot, because look at this amazing calligraphy, and imagine all the stories behind that. Kind of falling under the same umbrella are also the reproductions of old photos and prints that you can collect here and there in museums and art gallery shops. Although they look manufactured in modern times, we can still treat them and apply a vintage patina to give them the signs of time. It's super easy and fun, watch until the end to find out. Vintage photos and illustrations can also be found on the internet and printed. I collected these over the years and I printed them on a sturdy card with a matte finish, but also on magazines and old books. And I'll show you how the glossy finish of the magazine pages make them perfect to create semi-transparent tape transfers, like making your own vintage pet tapes. Next thing that your box of vintage finds needs is a collection of paper scraps, old documents, letters, telegrams. Search for paper with different colors and opacity, with letterheads, stamps, but also pressed flowers, embossed or debossed brandings, old envelopes. This stash of paper will be a great base for many vintage style projects. I'm gonna add in this category also the reproductions of old receipts and tickets, and also these cute note cards that my friend Anna sent me in a lovely parcel. These are the basic materials that we're gonna use to create our own vintage ephemera. If you don't have access to a thrift market or an antique store, but you still want to create with me, I prepared and curated 2 lovely bundles of printables for you that you can download now in a PDF format from my BuyMeACoffee page for the price of a coffee. They contain so many pages with a little bit of everything, from manuscript paper to old maps, photos and illustrations. I'm gonna leave the link to the printables in the description below. So let's start making stuff now, starting with tape transfers. I came across this idea on the Instagram page of Teshago. and I thought it was simple and brilliant. We're gonna take all our vintage cutouts from magazines and we will use a transparent clear tape that normally is used for packing to create transparent copies of these images, kind of creating your own pet tape to use on your journal spreads. First of all, I'm gonna prepare my images, cutting borders and extra bits that I don't want to transfer. These images are from the Tate Gallery magazine that I receive every 3 months. I think I have a good assortment to start. I'm gonna begin with this lovely lady. And what I'm gonna do is simply cover the whole image with strips of tape, allowing every strip to slightly overlap the following one. Once we have taped the image, I refine the borders with a pair of scissors. And I put it aside, because I will continue with more images and create a good batch before the next step. So far I chose to cover the image entirely, which will give me a clear complete transfer later. But you can also choose to place a strip of tape on the image. Make sure it adheres on a portion of it, and then rip the tape off irregularly. We're gonna see later how this can give you an interesting irregular border that kind of suspends the image in time. I've used magazine cutouts, but of course you can also use book pages with text and illustrations. I've proceeded in the same exact ways, choosing the portion that I want to transfer and taping it, slightly overlapping the stripes of tape. It's time to take a big bowl and place all our taped scraps in it. Big pieces, small pieces, all of them. I'm gonna add some lukewarm water and make sure that all the pieces are completely submerged. If you want, you can put a weight on top to ensure they don't float back to the surface. We're gonna put this bowl aside for at least a couple of hours, during which we're gonna work on idea number 2, which is paper clusters. I love these little things, so simple, highly customizable. We're gonna need many different scraps of paper. I showed you some at the start of the video. If you download my new printables, you will have a lot of material for these. First, I'm gonna select square or rectangular pieces. You can choose maybe something with a neutral color, but with an element that makes it not plain. There can be something written on it, or it can be fully occupied by text. You choose. These pieces will be your background, your starting point for every cluster. Then I'm gonna rip stripes and smaller pieces from plain paper of different colors. These will help us to create layers. Now we need some recognizable little visual elements. For example, I'm ripping off these small pressed flowers from this handmade paper. But also postage stamps can definitely be interesting, and small images like these pens and writing instruments. These are only examples, as I always say, you do you, boo. The next group of elements that we need is words. I'm gonna cut narrow rectangles of text from old letters, documents and book pages, with the idea in mind to create a little storytelling on every paper cluster. Now that we prepared these 4 groups of elements, we're gonna start assembling and creating freely. I usually start with a background piece, on which I place a neutral layer expanding out of the border. I add a visual element and a piece of text. When I'm satisfied with the composition, I use a glue stick to glue my paper cluster together. Simple as that. This format can be, of course, expanded and personalized as you want. You can play with paper of different textures, different opacities. You can keep it simple or make it more elaborate. The idea of these paper clusters is to have a vintage ephemera ready to use, that contains in itself already a story, that can set the mood for your journal spread or even complete it. I'm talking about journaling, but these little things can be used for so many projects, from card making to gift topping or to personalize a book. To make them interesting, you can play with the orientation of the elements, to make the cluster expand visually from the center towards the outside. Avoid symmetry here. There's so much beauty in asymmetry, and this is the perfect project to delve into it. You can furtherly add textural elements to these pieces. Here, for example, I glued some paper twine that also gives a 3D movement to the whole thing. And to enhance the vintage look of your clusters, you can use distress ink pads, or even just regular ink pads for stamping, to add a shading that suggests the signs of time. And our paper clusters are pretty much ready. I'm obsessed with how cute they look, and I'm really looking forward to using them. By the way, if you want ideas on how to create your own vintage style junk journal or scrapbook, you might want to check this video that I created some time ago, which is full to the brim with ideas and tips that you can steal and make your own. I'm gonna link the video up here and in the video description. Please excuse if this video sometimes goes dark, but it's 1 PM and this is London in winter. There's no sun at all today. In the meantime, thanks to the magic of editing, 2 hours have passed. I'm gonna grab my bowl of tape transfers and prepare a dry towel next to it. I'm gonna now gently but firmly rub the paper off my taped pieces. Magazine cutouts will be easier. For book pages you need to apply a bit more friction. But once all the paper has been removed, you will see that the image has been transferred onto the tape and became translucent. Exactly like a pet tape, which will be great for layering on your journal. I'm gonna continue this procedure that is actually very relaxing, kind of a meditation. Until you break the tape, then it's not relaxing anymore, but hey, we're gonna fix it later. Look how lovely the tapes with the irregular borders are. Definitely an idea with the potential all to be investigated. I like to transfer book pages with text, because usually some bits fade away and this gives a great effect when you overlap it on another image. The paper on my pieces has all been rubbed off. Now I'm gonna make a little surgery to repair these two, simply putting them back together with more clear tape. There we go. Of course, after the water bath, the tape has almost lost all its stickiness. So to use these pieces, I usually apply a thin layer of glue stick on the back. The tape that we used has a naturally glossy sheen, but if you're not a big fan and you prefer instead a more matte finish, there's a way that we can sort of recreate that effect. I'm gonna set my tapes on a flat surface and gently sand them with a fine sandpaper using a circular motion. This will already dull the sheen, but I'm also applying a matte varnish. This is from Liquitex, but you can use a Tim Holtz Collage Medium or a matte Mod Podge. I'm gonna use a brush to apply the medium on the pieces. Create a thin layer and spread it evenly. Don't allow it to puddle. Once you've applied it, let it dry and if necessary repeat the operation until you're satisfied with the result. I mentioned distress inks earlier, but they are not the only tool that we have to apply a vintage patina to our images. I'm gonna show you other ways now. Let's check for example these postcards. Most of them are fine as they are, but there's a few that I want to treat and apply a vintage patina on them. And I'm gonna do the same thing with these old photographs that I printed on card. You can find some included in my printables, so remember to check them. Also, this postcard is a modern reproduction of an old photo, and I'll show you how we can remove the sheen, distress it, and age it at least 8 decades. Go big or go home. I'm gonna set my working table and prepare a super strong cup of tea. I'm using 2 bags of Earl Grey that I'm gonna brew in just a little boiling water. It has to be very concentrated. We put it aside to brew and let's start with the modern postcard. I want to really apply an extreme distressing, so I get a piece of sandpaper and work on the image with a mix of crosshatch and circular motion. This will not only add to the vintage look, but it will also make the paper more receptive to the treatment. I'm sanding my other photos too, just a bit. And now we're gonna do some tea staining on my postcards, using a brush with soft bristles like this one. I start applying the tea directly on the paper, creating initially some small puddles, waiting a few seconds and spreading them around with a brush. With kitchen towel I absorb the excess and kind of decide where the stains will be light and where heavy. Dry this first layer with a hairdryer and repeat the process. You will see that the stains will start to build up naturally, creating this kind of effect. Another staining technique involves the use of a small spray bottle, like this one that I bought in Muji. I put a bit of water in it and I grabbed these watercolor inks in the shades of sepia and sanguine. You can use a regular watercolor, you would just need more pigment. I put a few drops of ink in my water and start spraying. This will create a more diffused staining if you spray close, and add a little droplets effect if you spray from a far back distance. Another step we can try is using our tea to create small puddles, and then add a drop of watercolor ink directly in them. This might seem extreme, but if we spread the mixture with our brush and blotch it off with absorbent paper towel, it gives it a lovely effect. I keep using this mix of tea and sepia ink, and this time I go for a piece of natural sponge. Then I'm gonna dip and dab on my postcards, remembering to control and domesticate the stains with kitchen towel. Now that the big staining process is finished, I use my distress inks to treat the borders of the postcard, burning the edges and suggesting that these items have survived through time, various calamities and natural disasters, and they've just been found in a box buried somewhere. This exact staining process will now be applied to my modern postcard to build up little by little a vintage patina. And I love how the black and white image gets older and older with every step. You can use stamps or also write on it to add to the storytelling of this ephemera. So far we've applied a typical brown-yellow finish to our paper, but I want to show you another possible vintage patina super easy to create. We're gonna use acrylic gesso, a primer and a medium that I use for my art and many other projects. We simply apply a thin layer of the gesso paste with a brush, starting from the corners and alternating vertical and horizontal streaks, keeping it dry and irregular. This will give us this dissolving and foggy effect, which is another lovely option for our vintage projects. This patina of gesso also gives the paper items an extra grip on the surface, which makes the application of distress inks more textural and granular. And we're all done for today! We made a nice collection of vintage ephemera ready to be used. I hope that the ideas in this video inspired you and made you excited to start creating your own pieces and embrace this literally timeless theme and style for your junk journals and scrapbooks. Don't forget to check the downloadable printable bundles on my BuyMeACoffee page, where you can find many resources for journaling, and you can also support my channel if you fancy for the price of a coffee. I feel like there's still so much that we can explore about vintage style journaling in future videos. Let me know in the comments if it's something that you would like to see. And in the meantime, if you enjoyed this one, don't forget to like, comment, share, subscribe and hype this video so that it can reach a bigger audience. This was me, Carlo, and as always, until the next video, take care, be kind, and I'll see you soon.